Hey guys, I'm Drago and I'm very tired. I've had a really rough sleep over the last few nights, and then last night I had pretty much no sleep. I've been feeling a bit unwell, but I wanted to get this video done and up for you guys anyway. So today we have 3 cat characters. Also, some really interesting things happened on the day that I was drawing these, so I'm going to be talking about that while you guys watch the drawing. Basically a little bit of a story time. So with all that said, let's get going. This character is called Evander and he's from Maggie Wolf. This person attacked me first with this amazing picture of Anomaly, who is my FNAF OC if you don't know, so it has to do revenge. So on reading this character's information, I read that he really likes to take naps, so that's the pose I decided to go for. I went straight into sketching the head in a refined manner, but when it got to the body I realised that I really needed to make sure I got all the shapes and anatomy right, so I then went on to more rough construction lines. But once I was happy with that, I went on to the refined sketch for the whole thing. I did my lines in my relatively normal way, so I guess now is a good time to tell you the first part of the story. So on this morning when I got up, I went for a shower, and I was just, washing my hair and all that, when suddenly something huge just bumped right into my face. And when I say big, I mean big. It was a huge flying bug of some kind. Now, I'm okay with bugs, but if it's a stingy bug, like a wasp, then I freak out. And my thought was this is a giant hornet or something, like, it was big. And so I freak out until I quickly realised that it's bright pink. And I was like, wasps aren't bright pink, hornets aren't bright pink, what the hell is this? And I look at it and I realise it's just a big fluffy hawk moth. I love moths, they're really cute little guys. Or should I say big guy in this one's case. So I quickly turned the shower off because I didn't want him flying into the water. That would have probably damaged him. And then I chased him around the bathroom for a bit and managed to get him to land on my hand. I took him into one of our bedrooms and opened the window so he could go out if he wanted to. I didn't want to force him out because it was actually raining and stormy on that day. So it was really heavy rain and I thought that probably wouldn't be very nice for him. Plus it was the morning, so it was daytime, so he was awake during the time he wouldn't usually be. So I left him in that room and closed the door to make sure my cat didn't come in and try to grab him. Eventually he left on his own fruition. I'll talk about the next part during the next drawing, so keep watching. Now this is a character with fur, so I wanted to sort of use my watercolour brush with a hairy texture to blend in those colours, make it look like there's fur. From there I started doing the background and I thought about a nice sort of foresty, shrubbery, lush green sort of, a nice area to map. I made very good use of my scatter brush here. All this sort of leafy texture and this grass texture I've got, they are so useful. If you've got Pixel Side 2, use your scatter brush, it's so good. And down the grass, I added some yellowy tones as well, just to get in that sort of height of summer feel for it. I then manually added strands to make it look like he's actually in the grass. When reading his character information, I also read that he loves blueberries. So I roughed out some sort of viney strands of a plant, and then I refined them a bit more. From there, I just added some simple blueberries. I didn't want to go too detailed for this bit, because it was in the foreground in front of the character, and the character being the main focus. I knew I was going to be blowing these blueberry branches a bit, put them in soft focus, so that the main focus is on the character behind them. Next was the lighting and shading. I made use of my scatter brush again here and put sort of a leaf texture over the top of him. It would make it look like the sunlight is coming down and leaving shadows of leaves from the treetops above. I put them on a shade and shine layer and then did the beams of sunlight coming through. Then it was on to shading the Vanda himself, in which I used orangey yellowy tones to do so. To finish off, I added these sort of polleny dusty particles in the air, blurred them out, gave them a little bit of a glow from the sunlight, and then it was all done. This next character is Bane from 6 Bane. Now this character gave off a little bit of a sassy vibe to me, so that's what I went with. I wanted to initially do a pose where he sort of had his head up and was almost looking down at the viewer and with a paw up to his chest like, oh, look at me, I'm all fancy, that sort of thing. After trying to go straight into the head like I did with the last character, it just wasn't working, so I deleted it and went in with some construction lines. I was happy with the pose and went in to refine it once again. It quickly became apparent though that I just was not able to do this pose for some reason. I don't know why. I've done these kind of up poses before and they've been fine. They are difficult to do, but I have managed it. But for some reason I just could not get it to work. I tried to just sort of roughly do the sketch to be able to do another sketch over the top of that to refine it even more, but no matter what I did, it just was not working. I tried to do a different pose where the head was angled more down, but that just ended up looking even worse. So I deleted it all and started anew. This time I decided to go a little bit more within my comfort zone. I've gone for a front facing view, but the character is still angling his head down and having that looking up at you snootily look that I wanted to go for. I decided to also add the classic cat blip. Can't come with the cat blip.
Like a Hellcat.
I finished the sketch and I was so much happier with it this time, so I went straight into the lines. Now, while I was in the middle of doing this piece, something interesting happened. My mum heard a scrap outside and it was definitely the sound of cats fighting. So she went out and it was 2 of our resident cats that live down our road. One this beautiful Siamese-like cat and the other is a cat called Milo, who we've looked after before and is a very friendly kitty cat, a big white fluffy thing. Milo eventually chased the Siamese cat off, and that's when Mum noticed the bird on the ground. Yep, the Siamese cat had caught a bird. It was a juvenile European style and a very gorgeous, cute little thing. Milo was not interested in the bird at all. It's almost like he chased the Siamese off to save the poor little bird. Now luckily I keep reptiles, so I had a spare empty vivarium and plenty of live insects and bugs for to feed it. So I popped it in the vivarium, obviously with a nice blanket for it to sit in. I gave it a bowl of water, gave it a bowl of mealworms and just let it sort of calm itself down in a nice, cool, dark area. I did check it over for injuries and unfortunately it seemed like one of its wings were broken. Like, this seemed like a juvenile that was only just able to fly, but now he just, as much as he tried, he couldn't, and one of the wings felt sort of floppy and loose. So I don't know what we could have done for it, but we wanted to try. Unfortunately though, within a few hours he had passed on. Honestly, I think it's a shock that got him, and if it wasn't the shock, I think he probably would have died from an infection. Cat claws and teeth have lots of bacteria in them. It's why even if a human gets badly scratched or bitten by a cat, they have to go and get it sorted out. But I am still glad we took him in, because at least he died in the comfort and warmth and safety. Because the cats could have come back and got him, we have loads of foxes around here that could have got him, we have sparrowhawks, we have crows that will come and scavenge. So it was definitely better for him to die in comfort than to be, you know, sort of not have a nice death from one of these animals coming on and getting him. Now you're probably wondering why we didn't take him to a wildlife rescue or a vet. Now we don't have any wildlife rescues around here, not locally. Our closest one is 2 counties over, it is hours and hours and hours away. Just wasn't, you know, viable to go there. And all our vets probably wouldn't do anything for it. For any common wildlife species, unfortunately the vets don't do much for them. And in fact, there's some wildlife that by law they have to put down if they're taken to them, like grey squirrels. So we didn't really have much of an option but to try to keep him and get him better. Though, like I said, unfortunately he didn't make it. But yeah, that was the second crazy thing that happened to me that day. There's still one more to talk about, so keep watching. I found this guy a little bit difficult to colour. With all the patterns and shapes, I wanted to make sure I was getting him perfect. Luckily the reference had a front facing pose, so I could use that to help me.
Like a Hellcat.
After all that was done, I put in a nice pattern background, and then I moved on to some sort of basic shading.
Like a Hellcat.
With a final light beam effect, he was all done.
Tell me like a Hellcat.
This last cat I chose because their patterns really caught my eye. This character is called Flicker and they're from Chai Tea. I immediately knew what kind of pose I wanted to do. And it was quite a similar pose to the reference, that sort of one eyebrow down and one eyebrow up, looking a bit sassy. Like the others, I hopped straight into just doing the refined sketch. It took a lot of messing around though. This is basically kind of a new style I'm doing for cats, where I'm making them a little bit more like an actual cat rather than more like my wolf style, just distinguishing them a bit better. I had to do a lot of sort of fiddling with the muzzle, and I eventually ended up using the reference to sort of help me on how the muzzle would be, but I think I eventually got it. Now the third thing that happened to me that day was I kind of mentioned it in the intro. Yeah, I got ill. The last few nights I've been under the weather and it's sort of this night that it started. Just had a bit of an iffy stomach, you know, and then as a result there was like no sleep to be had. Guys, I am so tired you don't even know. But I'm keeping myself going, I want to stay on schedule. If I don't, then I know what I'm like, I'm going to procrastinate and then this whole thing will be for nothing. I need to keep this going, I need to stay on schedule, I need to keep myself going. So no matter what, I will always try to get these videos out for you guys. If there's ever any reason I can't, then I will of course say it in my community tab, or I'll put up a brief video saying why, you know, just let you guys know. Now, like Bane, this character had a lot of different patterns. So again, it was kind of difficult to get them right. I was very careful to make sure they're right. But patterns like this have such a big reward, because when they're all in and all ready, it looks so good. The payout is really worth it. shading, I followed suit with the background and went for a sort of green tone. It looked odd at first, it took me a while to get a green tone that I was happy with, but eventually I did and it was matching the background nicely. Once again, with the final light beam effect, she was all done. And there we go, that's 3 cat characters all drawn out and ready to go up on Artfight. That's also the story of the weird stuff that happened to me today. If you enjoyed having a bit of a story time during these speed paints, let me know down in the comments, I'll try to do it more often. Anyways, that's all for today, guys. Once again, I'm sorry if I have no energy. I'm really tired. But yeah, thanks again guys, make sure to like and subscribe, I really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!